House is going to be pretty straightforward. We got a whole bunch of organizing to do here in the greenhouse. I've got my workspace over here where you've seen me doing some of my stuff has been going live here again on the widescreen. We're going to be looking at doing this more. Today is going to be, for the shorts viewers, they can hop on here and see what's going on. But today is going to be organizing this. I've got to get so what we're going to be doing today is pretty straightforward. There's some things need to be organized, some things have to be straightened out, but I want to get my my plants that I currently have that are seeded. We're going to move them into another area, kind of have an area set off here. I need to have a spot for my computer when I'm going live to be able to have that set up for chat and all the other stuff that has to happen there. And then I'm going to set up an area. I haven't decided quite yet. We're going to figure it out in real time where I'm going to set up my workstation. So that way I can be talking to you here, but I'm also setting up an additional camera that's going to be over the top of what I'm working on. So folks can see what I'm doing in real time and how I'm putting the seeds out and how we're going to be pruning down here, cutting back our plants that we already have. So there's a lot to it today that I got to kind of figure out. But first things first is really just going to be deciding, getting these guys moved over, because I do know I want this one and this one moved over here. So we're going to be unplugging, replugging, rerunning some wires. We're going to be doing a few things here to get this stuff set up. So they're done, and I want to kind of have them out of the way over here. So that way, as we are going through the season here, I want to have a spot that's just set up so you guys can see what I'm doing in real time as we're building stuff out. So again, we're here in the greenhouse. Again, appreciate everybody stopping by who's here. I'm gonna be here for a little bit today because this is going to take some time. And so yeah, let's get into it here. We're going to be just organizing. So I'm going to drop you guys down. Just going to hang out with me while I am working down here in this area. Right about here, guys. Cool. All right. So in this spot here, this is, so you can pretty much see, but I got light pouring in through here. This is my southern wall. And this is one of my bottom space of the shelves that I built here. I built these last year on the stream. They're just done with studs, wall studs, cut, along with some cattle fencing, which I have right here. So what we're going to do is, again, it's overdue, but I got to get stuff set up here. So I won't beat myself up too much. This is definitely going to start getting used here. This goes with my heater. What this does, this is a thermostat that will allow me, basically the heater won't turn on until we reached close to 30. I'll probably set it to 34 or 36 degrees, just so that we make sure that stuff doesn't drop below freezing here. And again, the pads that are on here, the warming pads, they're doing their job keeping the plants good. But like I said, I got to move some plants over here, and I want to kind of have this area set up here, up top here. This one is going to be set up for where my laptop will be when I'm doing my live streams on the regular channel, when I'm on the regular channel instead of the shorts here. So welcome to everybody who's showing up. I appreciate it. My name is Ryan. Hopefully earn your subscription today. I work in my greenhouse pretty consistently throughout the year. And right today we're doing a little cleanup, getting things set up. So hopefully you guys kind of see what we're working with here. So again, I've got warming pads, I'm going to say all over the place, but I do have quite a few of them, because we will have, throughout the course of this time as we're going through here, guys, we will have the entire greenhouse full. If you haven't been on the channel before, we do our part. I'll say that much. We will have every single square inch of this place covered in plants. Between my vegetable garden and my flower garden, we will have every inch covered. So in preparation for that, we got some work to do. So hopefully everybody's having a good day today. I know I am. It has just been it's been a good day. Like I was saying, I'm just, hey, what's happening, Darren? Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this. I have been battling some sort of stupid, cold sickness for the last, goodness, since January, I want to say. And I woke up today and I have oxygen flowing. It is amazing how much clearer my head is when I'm not coughing and gagging and just full of all sorts of awfulness. So I'm just ecstatic to be like a real person again. I'm a real boy. Look at me. All right, so we are going to just be kind of unplug in some of the stuff here. We're going to come in and plug everything back in once we get everything kind of relocated here. Okay, like that's kind of the plan. We're going to do that. So what down here, what we're going to have is I'm going to have set up for 2 of our plants that we have, our trays that we have. So that's like kind of number 1. I just want to get that set up, and we're going to start with this guy here. We're going to move the styrofoam. Now, if you've never seen the setup for these before with, I'll bring it down a little bit further so you guys see this here. Sorry. Doing this in real time, folks, real time. So, seeing the setup that you work with here when you're dealing with plants, we're going to, in a greenhouse, hey, Paper, what's up? Good to see everybody. I've been back about 2 weeks and I haven't really been able to catch a lot of folks, so it's good to see some of the old familiar faces coming back here. So again, for folks that haven't seen me do this before, the setup that you have when you're getting your seedling starting, it's pretty straightforward. You get a piece of, you have an insulation that goes on the bottom side, and you have these warming mats right here. You can get them off of Amazon. They come back in, they come in, I want to say this is like a 6-pack for $30, maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while, but I bought quite a few. And they have the size on here. I know it's backwards for y'all, but they're 10-inch by 20, basically 21-inch, which is, oh, you're fine, Paper. You do your thing. Hey, education, number 1 here. So, hey, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Always helpful when you do that here. So, but this is the size of a standard, right here. It's the size of a standard tray for your, thank you very much for the like. I appreciate it. For your seedlings here, which we're not going to start with that. This is a smaller, one of my smaller ones that I have. And the reason I have this smaller one here is because this only fits a certain amount. Now what I started here, these are for my peas. My peas are in here, and I'm just starting a few peas that we're going to have going, doing their thing. But I start peas throughout the year. I have peas going almost into July, where I'm constantly starting them, get them going. All right, so here's this one. I'm gonna grab this next piece here. But yeah, so Paper, how's studying been going? How's your schooling been doing? Hopefully everything's been fine, no issues. All right, so we're gonna get this next bit set here. So again, another more styrofoam down here. Again, just insulation. Again, we want all of the heat on all of these just to be going one direction here. All right, that's the goal. We don't want to have any of the heat from the warming mats. We don't want the heat going anywhere but up into our seedlings, into the soil. So let's place this guy here. This one goes here. We can run this over there. There's that there. Cool. Then this one, we'll come take a closer look here, but these are all my brassicas. I started these, and again, for brassicas and other cold weather items, other cold weather plants that we have. Come take a look here. You guys can kind of see. I do like doing shorts because it is easier for me to move this around here. So things that we have going here, again, your brassicas, for those that aren't familiar, it's your kale, it's going to be your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, cauliflower, things like that. All right. So we've got some eggplant going here, Brussels sprouts here, broccoli. We're doing artichokes this year in this spot. I've got some, this is the Swiss chard, kale, and then I've got a couple rows of onions. I'm just getting started for now. I'm going to do a whole boatload of them here in a little bit, of onions. We're going to grow a bunch in the garden this year. So that's a good thing there. All right, so there's that one. Now what I want to do is we're going to move this one up. I'm trying to think. So my big thing here, guys, again, sorry. Make sure you guys can see me here. I'm over here just kind of thinking. So this is the area where I want to be working off of, because this is where, so everything else kind of needs to be staged for that. So this is going to be my work area right here, I think. I think it's where I want to work from. Which is going to give me good light this way, but also, like I said, we're going to have a camera down looking directly on top of stuff as I'm working. I think you guys will like that a lot better this year. I think it'll just look sharp. So I don't want to touch this, so I want to move these, which is fine. We can just... Do I have my knife with me? Nope. But I do have a cutter here. Which is fine. This can go over there just like that. Cool. Let's do this. So these are just held on by the tabs that I use for my aluminum greenhouse here. Nothing too crazy. So we're just gonna give that a little slice there, and I've got more twine that I can use for these. No biggie. No biggie. And like I said, we don't sweat about stuff here. That still hasn't changed, guys. We don't worry about things. Not something that we like to do. I am going to unplug this. So I got these lights, and the lights are set up right now. My lights that I use in my greenhouse here. I got these off of Amazon. I got this cool little light, but I'm going to string them up and basically just have them over here. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. We're going to be stringing them up right over the top of these here to let them do their thing. And they're kind of nice. Like the way they connect, they're nice and cheap. Well, let's say inexpensive. But I have them running about 12 hours a day right now, give or take. So when I wake up in the morning, I've got, light is pouring into these things. So I come check first thing in the morning, make sure that there wasn't any power issues or anything. So there we go. And we're just going to kind of connect them up just like this, right down here. And once we have them powered up, you'll see kind of how nice they are doing the thing. Where did my string go? Where'd you guys put it? You guys remember where my twine went? Luckily I do. Found it right here. So, but yeah, I'll tell you, I was talking to a friend of mine today. I am so thankful. Like, words cannot even describe how thankful I am for us to be getting into, getting into springtime here. Like, I cannot even overstate how happy I am right now. It's just been this weather, yuck. I'm not a cold weather dude. It's not my favorite. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just applying, check that, I got ahead of myself. So I get for getting ahead of myself, guys. So the first things first, it took me a couple times to figure this out. So on this here, I just want to use one string to run this through, so I can just balance it and adjust the height as needed. So you run the strings through first. Okay, we're gonna disconnect that. We're just gonna run the excess string up here. We're going to tie it off with a little square knot. You guys are familiar with a square knot. Just a little square knot, nothing too crazy, just to keep it. Then, that should be plenty over here. We just cut off this section right here. There. And like I said, this is, you guys can see, I've got wire on here, right? So that's cattle fencing that I used for this. So what that does, allows me just to kind of do this right here. And we're going to run the excess through. Just kind of level this off right where I want it. So I can just kind of adjust it down for the light to get it right where I need it, if you can see that right there. So the light be hitting all directly right where I want it here. Just like that. Easy peasy, okay? And the big thing here, guys, especially when it comes here, I see a lot of people online, like a lot of folks, they worry about light placement and the type of light and everything. Guys, use LED, you can use whatever. But just make sure that it's bright enough that it's going to be by your plants. That's the biggest thing. It's when it's too dim. There's something to be said for having a specific wavelengths. And yeah, you want to have, I think I think the magic number is like 6,500, and there's all this other things that you can do, right? Which, again, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, you do you. Don't worry about that. But also, please don't overthink it. You know, I've watched way too many people, you know, especially folks I've talked to online. They just get so stressed out over this stuff, and it's like, please don't. It's really not worth it. Okay, like that's really all I'm trying to say here is we don't want you worrying about stuff. It doesn't help anything. All right, so I got this. So the next piece I'm going to do is basically just tie this off. Tie this off with a couple knots. Now what I did here is I gave myself basically enough string here to where that one knot's going to be plenty. I'm just going to tuck this extra underneath there. That guy ain't going anywhere. Then we can just adjust the length. There we go, folks. We got lights set up here. And again, the reason we're moving them over here is, again, we're going to be setting up for my long-term, for I can be my workstation that we have for stuff. So, okay, so our next spot, get my dibber out of the way here. You guys are going to get to see the dibber working in real time. I didn't even know what that word was until a little bit ago when I got the latest package of seeds that I had. They actually gave me the name for the item, the dibber, as they called it. I didn't realize that thing had a name like that. So, and it's used for poking holes in the ground, in the soil, so you know what size, the size and depth of what you're working with. That's what it's called. So it's called a dibber. This thing can just go over here. These two I'm gonna need. Just put them there for now. Lots of work getting organized here, folks. And this is the biggest thing when you're working in your greenhouse is just, you know, this greenhouse. I'll reset the layout of this greenhouse probably 3 times this year. It's about how many I did it about 3 times last year, and it's just because of different times I'm working on stuff, different times that I am, you know, doing different times that I'm, you know, as I'm getting, let's say, like for instance, I'm going to get the spring stuff out here pretty soon in the next 3 weeks or so. I'll be able to get quite a bit out. It'll do fine once it's up, it's established. Then it's going to be getting the early summer stuff and then the flowers going, which the flowers will come out before the vegetable. Like it's always going to be in a constant state of flux. And then once everything is out, I'm, you know, basically do a full cleaning, and then we are on to our late summer stuff, which is our fall planting. So all that needs to be like coordinated as well too. So like I said, and then my favorite part though is like once you get the fall stuff kind of going, then you get to chill a little bit. Get to just kind of you get out of the habit of being in the greenhouse, which is funny because then I come in like in the fall and I'll have these monster plants growing in here, just out of control. These big old beasts of plants that we don't want to necessarily have going here. All right, so the same thing we did before here, folks. Let me bring you over here. So what we're doing, as you can see, I'm tying off. I ran the string through the lights, and then we're just tying it off down here on the cattle wire, just in the middle with a little square knot, just so this twine isn't going anywhere. And then we're gonna come over here and get our second batch, our second set kind of set up here. Got our cutter there. And what we want with this, we are just going to adjust it till it is, there we go, right about there. That's what we're looking for, give or take. And again, folks, just like I said before, I will say it one more time for those who didn't hear it. Don't worry about, I mean, you want to keep an eye on how far your light is off of there, but I mean, it needs to get light. You need to make sure you don't have any shadows, but beyond that, don't overthink it. Way too many of y'all like hyperventilate about this stuff and worry, and all worrying does is make your vegetables taste bad later in the year. We don't want that, okay? There we go. So just tied it off a little bit. There we go. We got lights, folks. What's growing? Hey, Jack, we've got got a few things we're going to take a look at. I've got my, what did we start here? I got my lettuces up and running. I've got some spinach that's just starting to germinate. We'll take a look. Some cilantro, some basil. It's just coming up. Cilantro isn't up yet. So we're working on a few things here, but currently number one priority is getting this kind of resituated here. I had to, I got stuff going and I didn't like my setup. It was just too hard to film. I said, I want to be able to chat with everybody, and I was, it just didn't look good. I didn't really like the way it looked on YouTube. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, yes, I want to do this, but we also want to make sure we're putting out a good product for folks. You guys are kind enough to subscribe and everything to, follow along, hop on here, chat, give me some likes and whatnot. Least I can do is try to put on a good show, right? Like I said, I don't think that's too much to ask. You guys aren't asking too much of me is what I mean by that. So, all right, so here's this. What am I going to do with you guys? You guys want to kind of be a pain. I think I'm just going to tweezer these, or what do I got here? Here you go. Let's just kind of make this piece here. So I've got my twisty tie stuff. Take that piece off. We're just going to use this to kind of, again, I just want to kind of tie this off a little bit so it's not going too crazy. There we go. So it's just not going all over the place. There we go. I like that. All right, so we were talking over here. I've got to move. So here's the stuff that we're growing. This one's currently just kind of set up. I just wanted to have both of these set up for now. Yeah. Oh, thanks for subscribing, Jack. I appreciate it. So here you go. You can see. Maybe get a closer look at my guys here. Ooh, come on, work with me here. Goodness, sorry about all the craziness here. So we have got. Let's do it this way. I think this is probably better. All right, so where are we at? Okay? So over here we've got some basil. You can see I just got a little bit of the basil popping up there. Then we got our cilantro. This is some romaine that's coming up. I've got some other lettuce that's just starting to poke its head up here as well. This is mesclun. This is a mesclun mix. And then I've got some butter lettuce over here as well. These are coming. They're just about ready to start being thinned out. I have to wait for the first true leaves to come, and I see a couple are starting to pop, but I don't want to until I've got them fully up and running. Then over here, this section over here, this is all spinach, and it's just now starting to come. This is actually a chunk of lettuce that you see, this little green guy there. I'm gonna leave him alone for now. But in the back here, you can see I've got just a little bit of spinach coming up. So that's what we got going there, folks. All right, so we are just gonna do this real quick, and I'm gonna leave those there. What is going on here? Why are you moving all over on me? What is going on here? Sorry, you're gonna have to look at my face for a second. My mount decided it wants to be loose. There we go. Man, that is solid now. Sorry about that. That was, we're doing things live here, folks, so gonna get this from time to time. But I'll show you what we're dealing with here also outside, guys. So like currently, see here, little upgrades we made. I ran Cat 6 cable out here so we can have, when I'm streaming, obviously except for this, we'll be streaming off the land there. It's currently 46 degrees. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we're at 46 degrees. Let's go see what it looks like outside, because I'm in northern Michigan right now. And as you can see, here's my garden. We're still in the heat of winter. We're starting to get some melt here, which is nice. We're supposed to get rain later today, so that'll be good. But you can see we are definitely still working on some stuff here. When you guys hang out for the channel long enough, you get to see some of the other things we get to work on here. Got my shed, obviously. This is powered. I've got solar panels for that. These over here, this is all my compost bins and everything that we will be working on. They're about ready to wake up. As you can see, I've kind of got them full for the most part. You can really see that in there. So they're getting ready to wake up here in a little bit. Got my strawberries all in this one here. Can't really see, but on the far side of all of that, I've got a little orchard set up. This is my greenhouse. If you go and go to my channel, you see a video where we went through and I showed you how to insulate your greenhouse in this way. So that way, while it's 23 degrees outside, we're chilling in a nice 45, 46. But what was also nice about that, guys, the fact that we, during the evening, it doesn't drop like super fast in here. So it gives my heater a chance to be able to keep things warm and keep things at a decent climate, which is what I really want. So anyways, that's what we're working on here. We got some other stuff on the homestead. We're going to be doing chickens this year. I've got my coop. Got the chicken run. We got the brooding stuff is all on its way. That'll be here soon. I think in another week and a half. So that'll be pretty dope once we have that. We'll be doing all sorts of live streams, and I'll have videos on setup for the chicken coop, for the chicken run and all that stuff. So that's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that. Another thing we've got is got these in last week. I was out of town, but these came in. So it's another basically the same kit, almost identical fan, which I'm going to put on this side of the greenhouse. So my goal is I'm going to have, and I got to turn the fans around on this one, but I'm going to have, once we get into, we start to get into May, April timeframe, I want to be able to have wind blowing through here where I'm not as worried about in the evening, I'll turn the fan on, but when it's plenty warm out, got to have air circulating. So I'm going to have air coming in from this side, blowing across all my stuff and coming out. And I'm going to have the fan over here blowing the air out so we can have a nice little wind tunnel going. And this runs off of solar panels that'll just stick on the far side of the greenhouse over there, same as I do for this one. So got that plan. I picked up another one of these too for the chickens too. So the chickens are going to have their own little air conditioning system too. Not really air conditioning, but you know what I mean. It'll maintain a good temperature for them. Okay, so this is going to be my spot right here. We're going to have a setup. I've got some insulation, but we're going to do some other stuff. So what I'm going to do now is, actually, I'm going to do this piece here first. I got ahead of myself. What I've got to do is I'm going to run my electricity first. Then we are going to get that setup done, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, I've got a USB extension cable that I'm going to run. I just want to kind of have it back here a little bit for where I have the computer set up so I can run when I have my, when I'm broadcasting live. So that way I can have, come on, there you go. Good job, buddy. You made it. You did it. So I can show the over-the-top view when I'm working on my seedlings and other stuff. As I think that'll be a nice addition to the actual broadcast, because right now you guys are kind of stuck no matter what I'm doing. It's this type of view where you're just watching from here. I want you guys to be able to right in the action and kind of see what's going on. I think that'll just make for a better experience for everyone involved. Oh, don't worry, just a little chunk there. But hopefully everybody's having a good spring so far too. I know ours has been great. I'm joking. It's been terrible, man. It's just been so cold. It has just been frigid. And we just finally, see, I got my lights are on now. If you saw that come on, but we'll take a look at those in a second. Get the heating pads back. Actually, I don't want that plugged in there. Gotta get this guy plugged in here. Hold on, Ryan. So the heating pad stays in here. It's on no matter what. This guy comes at the end. And then we do that. There we go. Gotta have it on the timer. There we go. Okay. But yeah, it's been so cold, like frigid. Yeah, just not enjoyable. Have not been a big fan of the weather this year. We got my poor wife. I moved her here about 3 years ago, just about, and she hasn't been through an actual Michigan winter here yet. I mean, we've been, barely any snow. It's been, I don't know, mostly warm, nothing crazy for, for most of it. And then this year, we always suffer from the, I want to say here, January to mid-February, we don't have any, we have like no sun. It's just dreary and yuck out, right? We always suffer from that. Well, this year, not only did we have that, we also had we had not just no sun, but it was snowing. We had one stretch, I think, it snowed every day for 2 weeks. And not just like flurries, like we got like an inch at a minimum, like 2 inches of snow. It was just every day, non-stop. It was so annoying. There we go. So what am I gonna do with you guys? You guys just want to be a pain in the butt, I can tell. Yeah, maybe a little shadow there. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Okay, so those lights are up. Looks good there. Guys are running. So we've got lights here. These guys got to move a little bit. They're kind of a little cattywampus here, which we don't want. There we go. And cool. All right, I'm gonna move you guys. Make sure you're under there. Cool. They're getting plenty of light. Great. Okay. Cool. We're making some headway here. Oh, you're in the UK. Yeah, and that's the thing. Normally we're right on Lake Michigan here where I'm at. So normally we're not like freezing cold. At least we haven't been. We're doing them just for eggs for the most part. I mean, after year 3, every hen's going to end up once their production starts dropping, they're going to end up in the stew. Don't get me wrong, but mostly we want them for eggs, and eggs and fertilizer. That's the other spot too. I want to get some additional nitrogen for my garden. I don't get enough from my compost that I do, so I want to be able to use that specifically for that. I mean, well, not specifically, but in addition, I want to make sure we have it for that too. So yeah. And plus, chickens are fun, right? Oh, I also got one of these too. I know it's backwards for y'all. It's backwards for me too, but pretty excited about it. Got a new one. I had one before, and it's my fault. I misplaced it. So I owe my wife an apology because she got me one, but I got these as well, which is going to live. Man, no matter where I put this thing's going to whack me in the head. So I'm going to have to think about where I want to put this guy. We'll place it right here for now. There we go. We'll place it right there for now. So yeah, but fertilizer is a big thing. This, it's going to be my 3rd year with the garden here since we moved to Michigan. So I want to be able to, I want to make sure that it's going to be a good fit. You know what I mean? Okay. So, if you've never used one of these extensions before, if you can get away with only undoing one of them, like that's a W. All right, and I'm going to be using this a lot actually in the once I'm out in the garden there. I won't be using I have a 4K what's the word? Actually, I might use it. Now I think about it. That might actually I'll continue to be a good plan for me. Never mind, I will continue to use it. But I've got a little 1080p camera that I use, and then I've got this AI camera that follows me around. It keeps an eye on my body and just says, all right, where are you at? So if you watch any of my other videos where I'm in here, you will see where I am, where the camera follows me. And that's the idea, so that way we can, keep an eye on what I'm doing here as I'm bouncing around. Unlike here where I got to move the camera, because like today I just wanted to hop on shorts. I wasn't trying to have a whole production, and I haven't been on shorts in a while. This is where I spend, honestly, last year I spent majority of my time, and it's enjoyable. I love hopping on shorts too, because like right now I got 15 folks. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all hanging out with me here. If you can throw a like, just hit me with like a thumbs up and a like. I definitely appreciate it. It always lets me know that, you know, hey, that necessarily not talking to the bots here, which I don't mind. I've done plenty of streams where it's just been me and one or two people chatting as well. So this guy, this was going to be a thing, was going to be my hang up. Getting this guy set up. This is probably going to take me a little bit of figuring here. So I figure this isn't going to be deep enough. So how do I want to get this thing settled on here? I may have to get another piece of... Actually, I know what I can do. I've got zip ties, folks. What was I just thinking? I got zip ties. So let me close this up. But yeah, so we're going to be ordering our chickens. I don't know if anybody here has ever ordered. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. I don't know if any of you ever ordered chickens before. It's going to be our first time getting them, but you order them through the mail. They actually show up to the post office. That's going to be, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think it's going to be like, I mean, to be honest, I just think it's going to be super cute to do it. We're really excited for like our grandbaby, for her to be able to see some of that stuff. I think it's just going to be, she's just going to love it. All right, so before I zip tie these on, so here's the deal. This is what this is going to look like when we're doing it. So I've got my extendo arm here, right? We're going to have, and what I want to be able to do is have it set up just like this with the camera down, or even over here with the camera kind of on an angle pointing down. But I think this is probably where I want to be. That's what I'm thinking. You know, it's kind of hard for you guys to just imagine, right? We got a camera pointing down. I think that's what we're going to do here. I think right there is the magic spot. And let me get there, and then I can angle it from, yeah, I think it'll be good. And here's the thing. I can always move it if I, right? Because zip ties. I can always move this thing. It's not that big of a deal. So we going to zip tie the top here. Can I do it all the way around? I wonder if I can do that all the way around. Let's see. I bet you I can. I can. Of course, helps if you have it turned the right way. Come on, Ryan. It's amateur hour here. You know how to use zip ties? But, and you can tell, by the way, you can tell everybody in Michigan is like ready to go, like ready for spring to be here. The number of people that are out, it's all over the place. There's a little bit of sunshine and like everybody's in a good mood. Folks are driving. Although, unfortunately, we did have, and I'm not trying to bum everybody out on the stream. We did have an unfortunate event a couple last week. Again, not trying to make a thing out of this here, folks, but we had one of our, I'm on our school board here, and one of our students, unfortunately, was killed in a car accident right outside the school. It was terrible. We had the memorial for it yesterday. It was really well done. It's pretty and everything, but so there is that piece. As a community, we're getting through it. It's definitely been challenging, but you know, that being said, and I don't want to not trying to dismiss that, everyone is like really amped up and ready to go for spring to be here. It's one of our, like, everyone loves spring, right? But in my area here, it's exceptionally brutal as far as just from the weather side of it. So, all right, so here's this. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be overly stable. We just need it to be able to hold this guy like this. Good enough for who it's for. There we go. Look at that. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be dangerous. So what I need to do is just run this cable back here. I'm just going to drop it down. We're going to run, yep. I'm going to run it under here. So that way, yes, I want this under here. There we go. And then we are going to zip. Basically, I got some ties. We're going to put it on here. We're going to be all set. Cool. Man, folks, not saying I'm a professional at this, because I'm not, but something's got to go wrong here severely, because this has been working way too well. Like this is turning out way too close to what I had, I thought it was going to be. And well, I'm just like everyone else. When things start going too good, something's going to happen that's going to make this squirrely. So again, I don't want this too tight because I do want this to be able to move. And by the way, a few things that I've picked up over the years that I just make sure I have on hand. This little spool roll you can get of the twisty tie is worth every penny. It comes with a little cutter on the end of it right there, so you can cut your twisty tie to the exact length you want. You can find them at any of your big box stores. You can get them on Amazon. Highly recommend you have at least one, if not two, kind of on hand at all times. They just make everything easier. I should probably have a link somewhere on my page. So, but yeah, and that's the other thing. I appreciate, again, for the subscription on there. You know, again, Jack, thank you for that. I'm so close to being monetized. I'm so close. I've been doing this for just a little over a year now. So close to being monetized because I do this and I also do my business. I have a business program I go live on just about every day called Small Business News. Some of you may be like, hey, aren't you the dude that does it? Yes, I am. So I'm just serving dinner up, but glad to still. Hey, absolutely. Hey, no, hey, thanks, Jack. Thanks for swinging by, Jack. I definitely appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you around. Anytime you see me, hop on and say, hey, I'm normally on in the afternoons here in the springtime, and then in the summer, we'll be working in the garden pretty consistently. So looking forward to having you on, man. So enjoy your dinner. But, so yeah, we're so close, and I do appreciate the subscriptions because, you know, this is just a little thing I love to do here, hop on and just kind of chat. But I think it's just great to be able to, you know, that getting close to monetize. That's pretty cool. I was reading on there, and I'm not there yet, so I'm not, you know, we talked about chickens earlier. I'm not counting any chickens before they're hatched, but I think it's less than 5% of accounts who start doing this ever get monetized. So really hoping. I think it'll just be kind of cool to say. So, all right, so we've got to make a decision now that I've got this set up. Oh, I got to get my heater set up too before we do that. Heater has to be set up. And we got to have it set up with its thermostat. So if you guys haven't seen this before, you can order a greenhouse heater just like this. When you look at it, it's a standard fan, like a standard fan. So it's got a fan setting, and then it's got 1 and 2 for the different heating elements that you have there. And then it's got also like how much of the heat you want it to have, right? So what I do is I keep mine set at N1, and then I have it full blast for heat because frankly, it really doesn't need to do that much. Because what I do with this is that you can order them where they come with a thermostat, okay? And what you do with the thermostat on here, it's got this little probe right here. Got our little probe. Comes with a little suction cup that I never use. Basically, I just hang this somewhere, like, it'll look like this, right? It'll just be hanging somewhere off of here, near where the plants are at, that I'll then set this to turn on at 34 degrees, 36 degrees, depending on the time of year. Usually I don't like it to get any lower than 34 because there's going to be different areas that are going to be at freezing. But I also don't mind it getting cold because we want to hardy these plants up as well too, right? So I highly recommend if you have a greenhouse, grab you one of these. They make everything better. But I don't need it, and it's saying I don't need it plugged in yet. So I don't really want to have it, but I do want to make sure I know where it is for being set up. So I got where it is. I'm going to place it right under here. And I've got my heater. My heater is really just for me when I'm in here. If it's too cold, when I'm getting ready to hop on and have conversations with folks, you know, try to warm it up in here. If we have a cloudy day, you know, it's only going to be maybe 40 degrees in here, maybe 38. So I try to warm it up so my fingers will work pretty well. Okay, so we got this here. I got to fix this bubble wrap. If you guys haven't checked out the videos yet for the how I did this setup for this greenhouse, go ahead and check it out. You can find it on my channel for the bubble wrap here, and then I've got foam insulation, and then I had one of you, as a matter of fact, hopping on here, which I appreciate, turned me on to this stuff here. This is it's wrap for the like my AC unit or for like my heater to basically protect it and keep the heat inside instead of coming out. So he said, put this over here, and any light comes in, it'll help reflect it back down onto the onto my tiles that I have down here, just for a little extra heat. I thought that was pretty cool. So, hey, thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But so, anyways, so this is where the bubble wrap. And again, the bubble wrap that we have on here is 100% meant to be for its additional insulation that you have on here. So, and it's really only good for one season. That's like that's kind of the secret. We don't really talk about too much, but like this bubble wrap, the UV rays are going to chomp through it in no time, and it won't be good for much of anything. Okay, so next up on order here, we are going to I'm going to start laying out these so these can start getting flattened out a little bit. And these are all my warming mats. They're going to start in the next month, next few weeks. I'm going to start loading these up, so sooner I can just kind of get them out and give them a chance to loosen up naturally, the better. So again, just let me show you on these two here. It's going to be backwards when we look at it, folks, but if you've never really worked with one of these before, it's as simple as it gets. They're just meant to keep the soil warm. They're going to keep your soil on your seeds, and like the goal is to keep around 70 degrees. They'll keep them 70, 80, no problem. Even when it's freezing, below freezing, it'll keep them warm. So on your mat here, again, it gives you instruction you have here, but this is the other part that I like to be able to show here is it gives you how long it takes to germinate your stuff. Now what I do is I use this kind of let me know, like lettuce. My lettuce was up in 3 days, 100%, right where it was at. Cucumber, it lets you know how long it takes for everything to pop here. Petunias, we're gonna have petunias in here. I saved my petunia seeds from last year. I think if you've never seen that, that's a whole bit of theatrics into itself there to get petunias. They're such a picky little thing. They like very particular about their temperature, and then how much water and light they have. They have to have sunlight in order to germinate. They're kind of a weird one like that. Not weird. There's a lot of plants that are like that. But still, it's one of those things. Petunias are a challenge. Most people, when they start in gardening, they get to petunias and they're like, I don't want to do it. And last year we had a really, really good showing with my petunias. I had, whoa, easy there, killer. I'm just trying to measure it. I think it was this much. So whatever, this much. As far as trays, I don't know how many there were. I had petunias everywhere. So to give you guys an example of kind of how this looked last year. So I'm going to kind of change you over here so you can see the full stretch here. Now, I haven't said there, this greenhouse, there's the sun coming out. You guys can see that. Give me that vitamin D. Let's go. My greenhouse is 6 by 6 by 16. So the full length is 16. Is where it's at. This is a 7 foot, it's 7 foot, but it's 6 foot wide. We'll call it by 7. So the way this goes is, I'm going to have my computer here. Like this is where my computer setup is for now. It's eventually going to have to be on its own little, basically on its own little pedestal, kind of over here, because we're going to have a ton of stuff here. So last year it was, see if I can remember correctly, where you're at, like just below you were, 1, 2, 3, 4 lavender plants. I had cucumbers, squash. Along here were tomatoes. Trying to think what else we had here. Had a whole bunch of flowers were on this side, so I don't think that. Making my way through here. So we had basically a whole bunch of squash. Started some of my. I had lettuce growing like crazy here. Some more. All my brassicas were here. And this is where we got into my... I started with peas as well. I had a tray of peas. And then we got over here to where it was petunias. I had impatiens, marigolds. A ton of... I had 270 marigolds that I did. and those are all the way around my, basically around my garden and in my garden and everywhere. So I had 270 of them all set up. We're gonna do something similar this year, not as many, because now I have some perennials that I have around, but I'm still gonna do probably 2 trays at least of marigolds. We got cleomes. I've got a whole bunch of cleomes I got to do. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the shaking going on. We got the wind is starting to kick up again. We got a front coming through. So we'll be having that as well too. So like, it's all things considered, we're gonna have this place absolutely packed this year. Okay, so I got my tools that I need there. I've got this place organized. This guy can go out. I just want to see if there's anything I want to save on this. I don't think so. I love zip ties. So we're going to save me some zip ties. I think I'm just going to save the zip ties from this. This is going to go. I can just go here. Okay. Oh, so these will need to be replaced too. So another thing that I recommend, if you get a greenhouse, you want to have two different thermometers that you're going to have in place. Have them on either end of your greenhouse, and which is fine. Again, you only need one, but two, what happens is if the batteries go dead on this one, you still got the one for backup here. It helps you kind of validate as well too. You know what you're seeing and how your plants are reacting to and growing. It's going to give you a little feedback there as well too. All right, so I need those go here. Okay, so last things last, I have got to figure out where I'm going to put this guy. Got to figure this one out. I'm trying to think if there's a spot here. Because I mean, I do want it showing up, right? This is, obviously I'm on here to be able to gain as many subscribers as I can, but I also don't want it somewhere where I'm just going to be whacking my head all the time too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the tallest dude, but that thing I will hit my head on that. Maybe there, I don't know. Yeah, we'll leave it here for right now. Maybe we'll figure it out for another day. So, okay. So last thing, we're going to go on a little field trip here. Hopefully you're all okay with that. If you're okay with that, give me a thumbs up in the chat. We're going to go a quick little field trip. I got to go check on my my lone Brussels sprout that's still kicking. I've got one that I made it over the winter. Make sure he's that I had to prop up. Get back in there, you. So like I was telling you before with my fan setup that I have here, right? So we got the fans right there. There we go. Got the fans. I got this one. This one blows out. This one blows in. So it's sucking cold air in. And this one's blowing hot air out. Kind of the idea. But we're going to do that on a big scale for my entire thing. Oh, sorry about that. So let's take a look. Oh, I got to go. That's right. It's frozen still. We got to go around to the other side. Sorry, we can go for a little walk. So you can see my garden enclosure over here. Here's my Cat 6 cable that I got running from inside the house over here. You can see we got the full setup, looking good. Got our zinnias still left over, the birds. I've been having a field day with these. Getting the last little bit. I got my sorghum. Sorghum's been popping, growing here. These leftovers here. This plant, you can see this is cleome. I don't know if there's any seeds. There's a few seeds left in there. You can see that. So just drop those there. Maybe I might get some more growing. The rabbits have been having a field day. So this is we're going to be out here in the next I don't know, probably the next month or so, working on my tomato trellis. So see that? Left some of my sunflowers up. So the birds over the winter, they've been, they pretty much cleaned those guys out. You can see that's pretty much emptied out. I think I got 1 or 2 seeds left here. This guy's got a little bit left in them. Kind of like to do that with my sunflowers to the birds so they can munch over the winter. All right. So now, yeah, this is these are my tomato trellises. I've got 4 of them. You can see here. Ooh, that wind is kicking, folks. So we got 4 of them set up here. And you can see we got A little bit of my tomatoes still kind of left over from last year. I didn't pull them down. A lot of times I'll just leave them up. But so I want to show you, here's my Brussels sprout. One of my Brussels sprouts from last year. And he or she, right, is actually still getting ready to kick off some new sprouts for me. So I'm hoping I'm going to be getting new Brussels sprouts in this year, but I'm hoping I'm going to end up getting maybe one more set out of here. For those who haven't seen here, we got some additional. This is my other Brussels sprout. I don't know if you can see that or not. They're still kind of kicking, amazingly enough. And then I've got some kale that's still doing okay. But here's the thing, if you didn't know, these are Brussels sprouts from 3 years ago. They finally started going, but they're still producing, so I'm gonna cut them down, see if maybe they might get some more growth on them. So I like to use Brussels sprouts, the leaves when they're big. I'll actually do them up like spinach. Use them as just like a regular green as well. Continuing the tour here, this is slowly starting to unfreeze a little bit, and it's not too bad, but my strawberries are down here. They've been protected by these leaves here, so hopefully they didn't get too bad. If not, always pick up new strawberries. It doesn't cost too much. All right, so actually while I got you, I'm out here. Do one last thing here, folks. So I'm at my shed. You can see we've got our heating, our solar panels are there. Let me open this up real quick. Kind of a mess in here right now because I had exactly 1 day to get my greenhouse insulated. I didn't even have a chance to kind of even do anything with all the insulation here. But what I did is I wanted to be able to come up here and check on my trickle charger here. Looks like it's all good. So I can turn it back on. It is doing its thing. All right, we're all set. So that's always good to see. I have a video where I set this up as well too, because I've got it's a 200 watt system. I've got let me just double check, make sure I say that correctly. It's a 100 amp hour battery with a 2500 watt inverter. So, you know, really I can run, if I got to run any power tools or anything out here, I can plug in right here. But same thing if I've got any sort of work I need to do, I can have it. A lot of times I just run the radio, and if I got to have anything going in here, I'll do it there as well. So, all right, well, I appreciate everybody hanging out today. I got to head in. It's been good to kind of hang out with y'all. Looking forward to seeing you guys out when I'm out here out in the garden. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't ever hesitate to send me a note. You can send me a note through the community page on my page. If you go to my channel page, you can just put a note there in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and then hit notifications so you know when I come live, because we've got a lot of work we're going to be doing here, along the house, along everywhere in the coming year. Take care, and I'll see you next time.